Hello, and welcome to the About Healing podcast, a show created for those on or awakening into their spiritual journeys, and who are ready, wanting, and learning how to heal themselves. I am your host, About Healing medium and certified spiritual healer, Sheree Buckman. It is my purpose to guide others to the path of self-healing and to inspire those on their spiritual journeys in finding their truths. Join me as I share my experience and unfiltered perspective in healing, as well as the incredible wisdom of the loving energy that guides us. Let's begin. Well, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of About Healing podcast. As we get going into this episode, I first want to just give a little announcement. Again, something new. Oh my goodness. What else is new these days when I start bringing up something new? Just wanted to let everyone know that I'm actually beginning to do more live events. So it's kind of like About Healing Live, and you wanted to come see and join us in a little group where I talk about kind of like a healing topic like we do on the podcast, and then go into a gallery reading that I am beginning it's actually not my first one, but my first one of this year and kind of getting started again is on December 2nd of 2023. And it is happening at a dear friend of mine in the most beautiful location, greatest vibration. I love it completely. It's an apothecary, and it is called Moon Medicine Therapeutics. And that is here in Michigan, in Dorr, Michigan, very, very small town. So you're getting the small town vibe. But you can also do your Christmas shopping there. It is beautiful. She does her homemade tea blends and other beautiful holistic items as well. So for more information on that and how do you register and get your tickets, you can do that on my website at abouthealingmedium.com. So as we roll into our episode, I am going to acknowledge and bring up my dear, wonderful friend and producer of this podcast. Oh, and manager. You have another title now. Ms. Copper Yanger. Hello, Copper.
You always build me up so much before I start talking.
Hey, lessons in receiving. Go back.
I
You need to
know.
go back. Listen to it for your 5th time.
Right.
Because Miss Copper listens to all of the episodes several times as she
Multiple
does my
times,
editing.
yes.
I know. It was beautiful, today before we started recording, we started talking about, goals. Copper's like, "We need to get focused. You need to get focused." That's always what she's telling me, focus. It's true.
And it wasn't really planned, like, we were gonna, we both have things to do today, so we got on the call, and immediately I'm like, "We gotta do this. We gotta record, and we gotta get off." Like, I got things to do, you got things to do. But it just kinda turned into this mini meeting session where we started talking about, like, what do we need to do? What are our manifestations for the new season? What's going
Mhm.
on? And, yeah, and focus comes up a lot for us, so, yeah.
Yeah, especially me.
Guilty as well, so
I know, because as we said, let's focus and get this episode recorded. It's been an hour,
yeah.
you know. But it was beautiful, and we brought up these beautiful goals that we want going into season 4, because guess what, everybody? We are about to wrap up. We are winding down in our season 3.
Yes.
Just a few more to go. We have a few episodes left.
Monumental, man. I mean, I just, honestly, podcasts do not generally last this long, and you were just chugging along, doing an amazing thing.
Yeah, I'm even shocked. I'm in my mind like, "How did we get here?" But I love it, and I'm so excited. Still not going anywhere, gonna be around for a while. We are developing and creating again, we're growing with every season, so that's kinda what's going. What do we want? Our goals, and we're trying to manifest, which, of course, brings us into the next topic, today's topic of magic of words. So, this episode, we are diving again into that series that we've been doing this season on real magic. And so this will complete that series for this season with the magic of words. Words are a form of manifestation. So when I began outlining episode 15, magic of manifestation, I realized very quickly There was so much more to say about the words that we use. So I was guided to create the 5th episode of this series, this one right here. You know, one thing that I learned very, very recently, and it was fascinating, especially when we're talking about, I've been talking about the magic of all of these things and now combining the magic of words. So, very, very recently, and this is actually super exciting for me. I don't know why, but in this magic research, I have found that the word abracadabra, the one used by magicians, pulling a rabbit out of a hat, the beautiful classic magical word, actually has a beautiful translated Aramaic meaning, which is I will create as has been spoken. That's amazing. It literally translates into creating with your words. That's me translating it again, just into a regular term that I don't have to speak so formally. But what was beautiful also, I'm going to give you a quote here. When you speak words, what you say is mirrored back to you in the form of your reality. Essentially, you are casting spells with words in each moment. And this was written by April Fender. And that is why this has been so exciting and talking about this real magic. It is truly real. And so I want to break this down, the words in a sense, and why this is magical and the power it does have. So let's begin here with the energy of magic. Like I said, it's manifesting, right? Words give your thoughts energy. We go back and starting with the beliefs. Your belief turns into a thought, which turns into intent, which now gets out and spoken, right? It's words, speech. Which brings me back to my favorite quote. You've heard me say it before, but it is so related into this topic that I have to say it again, which is a quote by Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. And your values become your destiny. It is coming to a point to understand that when you speak, it is not just simply saying a word. Words are not empty. It's not like we're just trying to connect things and it's not. There is energy behind them, every single one of them. It is also in your tone, your intent, your deflections, all of it. This is all the energy behind it. And it's never just about the word itself. Okay? The word itself literally is a word. I'm trying to break this down. I'm hoping I can break this down to understand. It's the meaning behind a word, right? That's the energy and why we choose certain words. And this is also something I tell my clients a lot, especially when they're in a session with me and I'm using really big, extravagant words, right? It's like changing taboo words with something you're more comfortable with and relate to because we can do that. So it's always looking at the meaning and the energy and the kind of the intent behind it. And speaking of the energy behind words, for me, I want to give the examples of understanding, two polar differences behind that. So someone who is in victim mode, right? And this is kind of that lower vibrating sense when you're in victim mode. This comes out more in like whining. This comes out in casting blame. This is not taking responsibility and giving their power away. And brings that kind of frequency and that lower vibrating here. Okay. There's an energy behind it. And then you have someone who, on the other end, who is speaking honestly, right? I would say like honesty is a big one. So from here, someone is speaking from the heart, allowing vulnerability. This takes courage, self-resilience, not preservation, which is different. And it's also allowing growth in all ways for themselves and for others. And this is more of that high vibrating energy. And understanding that and understanding the energy behind it, we can really start to go in and focus on the power of words. There's this old phrase that comes up from my childhood: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How false this may be. I have something else to go along with this in a minute, so stick with me. Words have the power to actually hurt, cause pain, and destroy. Wars have actually been started with words. They can ruin lives, destroy relationships, create fear, panic, self-doubt. All of these very low frequency, low vibrating things. But equally so, they also have the power to uplift inspire, and heal. One word can also stop a battle or a war. It can inspire entire movements, unite enemies, heal relationships, trauma, inspire love, forgiveness, and community. And while our words have so much power to do things for others, where we've talked about it, where it can either destroy or create chaos, or whether it can heal and inspire, it can also do the same for our own self talk. And it's about becoming aware of that, where we can either create limits for ourselves or we can inspire ourselves also. And it's those simple words that sometimes you don't even realize you're saying it, right? It's the like, I can't statements. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough for this. I am not fill in the blank. This is self-doubt. These are energetic blocks. It's that power behind it. You're building that energy, right? And that's about giving up. That's about not even trying because you see something is difficult. It's never been done. You have either never done it before, or you've seen other people struggle, so you're not even going to try to do it. That creates the limit. And it's by saying these out loud. But there's also so much power in inspiring yourself by saying, I can. I can. I can do the impossible. It's interesting as I started realizing that I was doing this. So I work out. So I'm in this new phase for myself where I've worked and put so many years into my emotional and mental health that now I am working on my physical. So I am building like strength and I've been working out lately and I'm really pushing myself in strength training. And I have a physical trainer and I work out with another partner and it's amazing. And I noticed that even they would turn and be like, "Wow," like, they're really proud that when I get into those moments, like, it's really hard, especially when they want me to do more weight. And I realized where I couldn't do it earlier, and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do this again," and instead of saying, like, "That's too much, I can't do this," I realized this was a very specific moment I had yesterday while working out. Because when I began it, I couldn't. I literally physically could not do the weight. It wasn't gonna happen, so I had to go down. But the more I started doing it and working on my form, I started understanding, I'm like, "Wait a minute. I just needed to understand how this was done." And I told them, I'm like, "Okay, I'm going back to that original weight, the one that I said that I couldn't do." And instead I'm like, "I can." And my trainer would said, "Okay, just try to do 5." I'm like, "No, I'm doing all 10. I'm gonna do it." And right there, like, the eyes went open and I did. I put that focus into it and did it because I didn't set a limit for myself saying, "Hmm," or whatever that was. I didn't give up. It is that point of inspire yourself no matter what it is. It doesn't matter how difficult it is or anything else. There's a huge difference in changing just that word from can't to can, no matter how difficult it is. It is the story of the little engine that could. That super basic childhood story has so much meaning for all of us. And all of this goes back into understanding the responsibility. We need to take responsibility for what we are projecting in our words because you can manifest without even realizing it. You can be speaking words and it is that whole situation where you're talking and then somebody gets offended and you're like, "But I didn't mean that." Okay? Even if you didn't mean it or intend to, your words hurt someone. And instead of putting that on someone else and putting that blame, I'm like, "Oh, well, you're just sensitive." Take a minute. Take a deep breath for yourself and be accountable for the energy you just projected because we have to be accountable for what we create. You yourself individually. Words can be forgiven, but not forgotten. Once spoken, they cannot truly be taken back, even if they, again, were not meant or intended. Most especially, right, when we're speaking out of anger or frustration. This is usually those easiest cases where we spew things we don't really mean or do we mean? That's a big question and defining line there. Which brings me into the venting. Venting our emotions is healthy. However, you need to be responsible in how you do it, especially with the heavy, okay? Venting should be a release for you and not a dumping ground on someone else or others, unless they have agreed to let you emotionally vomit on them or around them. Because this is important to understand how freeing it. And I had to, this was a very powerful statement that I heard someone say. It was like someone asking, "Are you strong enough for me to emotionally vent?" And this was, like, during the COVID time because a lot of people were heightened there, a lot of stress and a lot of things where we couldn't take on the extra other people's stress and worries because we had so much of our own. We need to be accountable and responsible for that too. Is this other person able to take this vent that you need to do? This is about that healthy venting. So let's make sure we are asking. We need to make sure that they are strong enough and capable enough to hold it for you. Because one thing is that when we want to vent, we always are drawn to the ones, right? We feel are strong enough, the ones we're drawn to. Usually the ones that we're drawn to, that we feel safe in giving these big things to, are our sensitive people, right? Our empaths. I'm going to tell you though, not every empath or these sensitive people or the people that we always trust to give this to, they're not very conscious or aware that they are so sensitive, and some of them will absorb it. And that's why making sure that someone is stable enough and grounded to take it is extremely important. Because especially when you are letting go of negativity, okay, that those heavy emotions, that anger, that frustration, all of that, it's easy for them to take it in and keep it as their own because they're always going to want to help you, but they don't know what to do with it. Now, when it comes time and when you, right, when you need to, like, you feel like you need to vent to somebody, that is that particular person that it is related to, okay, you need to be careful about doing it in the heightened moment, because when you do it in this state, this is where the regrets and the wounds begin. This is again about being responsible and being self aware about where you're putting your energy, these words in particularly. When you feel yourself getting heightened and you want to kind of give back the energy that someone's giving you, or you felt wounded and you want to attack back, take a minute. Take a deep breath. You need to take a moment before you speak or express yourself in a frustrating, angry, or hurt situation, because in that moment you lose your filter. When I'm talking about your filter, we're talking about that one of our awakened self, and instead we're going to unleash the ego on the heavy ego, the super ego, and that's our need to hurt others as we feel, wanting to bring people to where we're at on the negative state. Now, while I'm saying that, have we all been there before where we've said things that we've regretted? Um, yep, absolutely. Me too. Absolutely. Because we are human. And I want you to keep this because this is about becoming into the awareness what is not happening as often, where you can stop yourself. We are human with an ego, and that's never going to go away. That does not go away until we leave this physical plane. It is permanently attached. But the more awareness we have of it, the more control we have over it also. And it's to understand, and the whole point of bringing this up is because it's never too late. That awareness changes everything. It is never too late that once you've done damage, once you've used words that have hurt, that have created, wounds, or even the words that are unspoken too. That's another huge piece, because sometimes we also don't give the energy that we should have or that we wanted to. So you can either give too much or not enough. But it's also understanding that it's never, ever, ever, ever too late. It is about then using the latter power of your words to heal. When it's about others, it is about offering forgiveness. It is saying the unsaid things that you wish you had, whether it's, I love you, I am sorry, I was wrong, etc., etc. But it's also not forgetting about using them for yourself also. It's about releasing the guilt, the shame, the regret, using more positive self-talk and saying, you know what? I'm learning and I'm growing. That's where I was yesterday, but today's a new day and this is where I am. Because now it's time to start using our words consciously. Like I said, no matter how you have used your words in the past, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, it is time to begin to become aware and practice speaking with intent. You create what you want with your words. You can also hold back words that would draw to you what you don't want. Again, you got to be hyper conscious of this here. Here's another quote for you. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is a vibration. This is a quote by Nikola Tesla. And in case you didn't know, Tesla was an inventor, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, physicist, and futurist. He was mostly known for his generation and understanding of AC electricity system. Tesla was a master of energy, frequency, and vibration. He understood that to create what you want, you had to match its frequency. He also believed that the day non physical phenomena are studied, now we're talking about the energy behind things, the words and things like this, was also the day that science would advance by centuries in just a decade of doing this. We, as humans and souls of light, are made purely of energy. This is actually a scientific fact. But this also absolutely includes our words. If we're made of energy, that means what we put out and project are also a part of that. And I'm saying that to see the line of where this goes in this projection, that even words and tones, right, they are also measured in a frequency, quite literally, like in hertz, right? This is like our tone. The whole point of this, and it's truly all coming down to, and what I'm trying to get my point across is that we need to start thinking and speaking, putting that question out there first. What is it that you want to create? It's not just about that, about what you want to create, but remember, like what you put out, you get back. So, what is it that you want to get back? It is now coming into that, into that consciousness, let's put it that, about the words you put out. So, replace those destructive words, the destructive words, those low frequency words. We are going like hate, fear, can't, all of those things that we were talking about before, and use them and replace them with more high frequency words and statements. I'm sorry. I love you. I appreciate you. I forgive you. It is peace, joy, happiness, gratitude. These are the higher frequency words and vibrations in themselves. What words can you use to align with that? The more you practice and use more of these higher frequency words, you will begin to notice a more joyful and peaceful experience for yourself and for those around you. The more you use them, the more you get to stay in that frequency, while also automatically releasing the lower frequencies. That's why some people, they're wondering why they're doing all this self-work and they're bringing more positivity out in the world by their words, by what they do, that they're noticing like, but why am I having these negative effects with these other people? It's because you're releasing lower frequencies that don't match. Because this happens with people, places, situations, and et cetera, et cetera. Again, we are those magnets. We are made of energy. What you put out, you get back, which means that some of those other frequencies that the more we use, they can no longer hold on to. The lower ones can't hold on to that high frequency, and you're releasing. I'm obviously, given the work I do and the fact that I'm on a podcast, I'm very, very familiar with words and how to use them. I very consciously choose to heal with my words. When I began this podcasting journey, and not just this podcasting journey, when I decided to embody and develop and embrace this beautiful capability of being able to connect with people, being able to connect with spirit, becoming the about healing medium, I made sure that I intended to inspire and uplift people. I never used words that would demean or bring up anger and frustration and fuel a situation. Instead, I have found there are so many other ways that even in diffusing situations and conversations, some people get frustrated by my positivity when I bring it into one of those frustrating, you know, when they're having a debate and I'm like, well, let's bring in a positive spin on that. And they're looking at me like they're really wanting to get into it. I'm like, but that's just me anyway. But there are more positively charged words that you can pull out of the lows or other ways to explain your thoughts and feelings. Every single word has a charge. Begin to feel into them before you speak them and ask yourself, how do they make me feel? Life is an echo. What do you want to hear, feel, create, and see in return? That starts and ends with you. You are the one to bring the change you want. So what are you waiting for? Let's begin by taking that responsibility and accountability for what we say and for the damage that we do, and start using those high frequency words to creating and manifesting exactly what we want, who we want to be, and where we want to be. Use these words in addition to all the other tools that I had mentioned in the magic of manifesting. You will find that you may be feeling more inspired, more loving, more empowered than you ever have before. So until next time, you beautiful manifesting souls, be kind to yourselves. With so much love and gratitude, I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode. My hope today is that the message continues to guide you along your path to healing. To learn more about me and my purposeful work, visit my website at abouthealingmedium.com. You can also follow About Healing Medium on Facebook and Instagram, where you can find the episode's healing guidance, quotes, tips, insights, and chances to win free stuff. To ask a question or to share comments, email me at abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com, or feel free to reach me on Facebook and Instagram at About Healing Medium. Until next time, be kind to yourself.